Janet is looking back on photos of her dad from his early years and his retirement years, and even photos going back to World War II.
He was a munitions specialist in the U.S. Army.
But there are photos that make her cringe, disturbing photos of her dad in a nursing home. We're going to show you some pictures now, and when you look at these pictures, you might get the same impression that I got. You might be saying to yourself, it looks like the man was beat up. She took those photos with her cell phone when she visited him. He had fallen several times, and he didn't receive proper care until she demanded that he go to a hospital.
In my opinion, things went wrong from the start. Basically, I felt like the staff was not really very on top of things. They would not talk to the family very much. I had to really get their attention to engage them in any kind of concerns I had regarding my father. It just was horrific. There were orders that were written by the doctor that were not followed. And it was not only my father. I noticed that with other residents, they were calling out, bells were ringing, lights were going off at the nurse's station, and they were not being attended to.
How bad did it get?
Bad enough that my dad ended up falling 3 times.
In the facility?
Yes.
Not supposed to happen.
Not supposed to happen if he's being properly monitored and cared for.
And what happened with the falls?
Well, basically, I came to visit him on one occasion in the evening, and I noticed that his whole hand was swelled up and purple. And I finally found a nurse and tracked her down, and I said, look, my father's hand is injured. I don't know if it's broken or what happened to him. And she said, well, he tried to get out of bed to go to the bathroom, and he fell and hurt his hand. And I said, well, why would that have happened if you're supposed to be helping him with toileting, if he's yelling out for you, if he's ringing a nurse's bell and nobody's responding? So she said, well, we were changing shifts, and that's the reason nobody attended to him.
Not a valid excuse.
Not in my estimation. No, not at all.
How old was Dad at this time?
He was 98 and a half.
Almost 99 years old. And
Right.
you would think that someone 99 years old in a facility like this would get proper care and attention.
I would think so. I would certainly hope so, entrusting my loved one for medical and nursing supervision. Yes, absolutely.
And I take it this wasn't a cheap facility either.
Well, I would assume that it's, costly. Fortunately, my dad had medical insurance, and that covered the cost, but it was just substandard care, especially when I had to tell them, take an x-ray of my dad's hand, make sure that, there's nothing wrong. I mean, that wasn't done.
So she called the Basich Law Group about this elder abuse.
And we ultimately got a good 6-figure settlement.
And you don't need to wait for there to be a death. Falls, dehydration, and just failing to respond to call bells when an individual needs assistance to get to the toilet or with feeding. There's so many things that go on, and the loved ones are only there a portion of the time. Think what happens when they're not there.
If you suspect elder abuse, call the Basich Law Group. The Basich Law Group is ready to talk to you. Take photos of the abuse and the resulting injury. Look for falls, dehydration, and bed sores. Call the Basich Law Group at 800-215-1234, elderabuselegalgroup.com. Call them at 800-215-1234